Do you think I should quit using AI-generated assets? Every few months I get a viewer commenting on this after seeing a thumbnail that I used AI to generate. The last one even went to the personal level, but the point they made is important and we must talk about this. GoodGuysFree here, so let's get started. First, let me dispel any preconceptions and misconceptions. No, I am not a saint, and don't expect me to be. What was in the comment? A call to stop using AI, and then, almost insulting, accusing me of being lazy. Oh, before I forget, I'm not going to quit creating content. Why? Because I like my interaction with you, my viewers, so please comment on anything. And yes, despite the tone of some comments, I thank each and every one of them. But I digress. The main point in that last comment was the claim, which in some cases was indeed verified, that the various AI generation models out there constitute theft. While this is proven in some cases, it is not in others, so I will continue to use the word claim. This issue is so complex that I will never be able to cover everything, and there's no way I am going to convince you one way or another, but I don't intend to even try. I just want to make it clear what I think is going to happen, whether we like it or not, whether it's okay or not. The claim is that these models are all trained on millions and millions of copyrighted material without consent of the entities that hold the rights to them, and therefore by using these models, anyone who does this is participating in theft and propagating the use of its products. Can you say this is wrong? What do you think? The video isn't over, but let me know what you think in the comments. But please, mention what you are answering about, because there are so many different things yet to come in this video. Okay, this thing becomes super icky. You know why? Because when an artist visits a gallery and gets an inspiration and creates something that another piece of art inspired them to create, is that theft? Well, if the new piece is very different, then you can say it's different enough that it isn't stealing. Let's see an example. What if an artist, a painter, saw a painting of a couple walking towards the sunset, and out there on the edge of the painting, there was a small village. He loved it, loved everything about that small village. And in his next painting, he recreated that same village pretty closely, only he put it on the other side of the painting, and his painting is of a basket of fruit on a windowsill. The village in the original painting covered less than 3% of the area of the painting. In the new painting, the village covers even less. And the entire theme is totally different, so is it theft? Comment if you know. Most will agree this is not theft, and even if another artist paints a similar scene to the original, they put their own interpretation into it and give it their own name, it's a different piece of art. But wait a minute, this is completely different than using AI, really? AI is a machine. We created it, it isn't alive. Good point. So let's think about an alternate reality in which we are so smart that we can create biological beings from scratch. In this alternate reality, we already solved all the ethical issues, etc. Now they have biological brains, which we created, and let's say we're able to make them function. We jumpstart their biology, and they are among us doing as we ask or doing as they please. Are they alive? Many would say yes, and many would say no. What do you think? Obviously, we have two options on how to give them their abilities. Either we implant the knowledge in their brains, or we teach them. Now, let's say one of them has been asked to decorate the living room by painting. They go through a book with pictures of famous paintings, and they decide to paint the Mona Lisa. The result is so good, because we gave them amazing abilities, that people only know this is not the Mona Lisa because they know the real one is in Paris at the Musée du Louvre. The helper now paints a new painting of the woman with blonde hair, but a striking resemblance to the Mona Lisa in face and clothing, and this woman is walking in a garden. Clearly, the painter has seen the Mona Lisa and did not have permission to use it to learn from it how to paint. Is that theft then? Before you answer, think about how the painter learned to paint. If we somehow implanted this knowledge into them when they were created, then where did this knowledge come from? To be implanted, it had to be in a format that is suitable to implant into the neural pathways of the artificially created creature that is this painter. We know biology doesn't work this way, so basically we can either copy an existing brain that had this ability or somehow fast-track the same processes that build the neural pathways to obtain the same abilities like someone who had been taught and trained. And still the question remains in this case. Where did that body of knowledge come from? If I was in this alternate reality and I was getting myself a painter like this, forget the ethical implications for a second. Of course, this looks like slavery, and I would never want that. But in this alternate reality, I don't know if it's possible to prove that the provider of the knowledge for the painter used or didn't use something they don't have a right to. What do you think? Now, the other option is that we get that painter and we spend the time and effort to teach and train them, and we do our utmost to make sure not to use anything that isn't in the public domain or that we have the rights to use in this way. Now we have an artificial thing, creature, entity, person maybe, that does what AI is doing in our reality. Is that theft? Tell me what you think. If you say it is, then is it just because he is artificial? If you say it isn't theft, then we find out that a company that sold us the rights to some course in painting had used something they thought they had the rights to, but didn't. What then? We can take this in the other direction, of course. What if we manage to create an AI so large that it can be taught from scratch like a child, and we place this AI in a mechanical body, and they start learning in school like every other person? Now, after some years, you ask this AI to create an image for you. Those who say AI today is theft should still say that, right? And the reasoning is what? That the Android has an unfair advantage? They can read faster, learn faster, better memory. So what? Doesn't that border on discrimination? Yeah, this is a good point to stop. I mean, let's stop using AI if it is theft, right? Let's see what this means. First, image generation and video generation out of the door immediately. What about LLMs? Oh yeah, they must be trained on some dubious material. And I'm not being sarcastic. No, it is very likely that it will be impossible to prove which LLMs were trained on material without the rights and how much of it. So LLMs, large language models, bye-bye. Next, gaming. All this upscaling and frame generation, bye-bye. For sure, those models that can upscale so well must have been trained on material we can't prove they had the rights to. Next, voice isolation. Can't be sure what it was trained on. Bye-bye. Next, image and object recognition. Boom! Gone! So, no more face lock, no more face recognition in cameras, no more license plate recognition anywhere. Ooh, this will be so much fun! Endless queues in every toll station, yay! I could go on and explain that like any technology that has the potential to change the world, and we all understand that this is one such tech, if you don't develop it, someone else will, and they may think about freedom and liberty in ways that you will not like. AI is not going anywhere. We need to embrace it or become the poor nations of the world. From first world countries, we can easily become the new third or even fourth world countries. Is it okay that mega corporations train AIs using materials they don't have the rights to? Of course it's not okay. But do you think governments are going to avoid using things they don't have the rights to when they know for sure that other governments aren't going to be holding themselves back? Nah, don't be so naive. Oh, and yeah, I am lazy. Laziness is a virtue if it makes you work smarter instead of harder. Not my own saying, but I like it. If you have anything to say about these issues, please don't hold back. If it was interesting enough that you reached this point, hit like and consider subscribing. And until I get replaced by AI, GoodGuysFree here, and I'll see you again soon.